My parents both immigrated from Northern Ireland in 1946, and they had known each other for 2 weeks when they got engaged and 2 months when they got married. But they came over on the Queen Mary, and they settled in Downey, California. But when I was 3 years old, my father died unexpectedly in his sleep. But my mother never remarried, and she raised my older sister and I, and we went to church every Sunday. But in this particular church, I never heard the gospel. So by the time I was ready to go to college, I was going to go to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, I was excited about the idea that I didn't have to go to boring church anymore. And so that's what I did for the first 2 years. But I think there's the value of being raised going to church is I started to think, I wonder if I could find a church I would actually like. And so that was my plan going back for the third year at Cal Poly. And so when I was registering for the school year, I happened to notice the Campus Crusade for Christ booth. And I thought, well, let me check that out and see what that's about. And through a series of interviews with them, they explained the gospel. And up until that point, I was a good girl. And so I figured if God grades on a bell curve, I should make the cut, But Crusade said, no. You can't look at people and compare yourself this way. You got to compare yourself with God. And God is holy. And he never sins, and he can't overlook sin. It has to be paid for. And we don't have anything valuable enough to pay for it. And they said, that's why Christ came, because he took all of my sin, all of everyone's sin on himself and died with it. And his blood was valuable enough to pay for everyone's sin. But they said, what I needed to do was say, I want that. I want that payment. I accept that payment for my sin. And so that's what I did. And it changed the course of my life because I started going to this off-campus church, and that's where I met my husband, Noel. Now, Noel was a mechanical engineer major at Cal Poly, but he felt called to teach Bible. And so we reasoned, why don't we get going on what you feel called to do? But unlike my parents, we did not rush into anything. We waited 3 months before we got engaged. And we did not get married until we'd known each other 7 months. So we had it nailed down. We knew what we were doing, we weren't foolish. And so, but we reasoned, we thought, why would we finish at Cal Poly the 4 years when you feel like you need to teach Bible? So we said, let's just finish the third year, get married, and transfer to a Bible college and get going. Now, the little tiny thing that we didn't factor in was Noel had saved all of his general education units for the fourth year. And so just about nothing transferred to the Bible college. They weren't interested in thermodynamics. So we started over, and we did 4 years at the Bible college. But now my husband and I ended up finishing the 4 years at the Bible college, even though I had that one class. We got through it. And then we went to Dallas Theological Seminary, and I did half of my master's in Bible and then delivered twins. So that was that. No more. But Noel finished it's a 4-year master's at Dallas Seminary. He finished it in Old Testament exegesis, and then he got his doctorate in education. And when our kids got to be middle school, I went back and got my master's and doctorate in psychology. And I had a private practice in Seal Beach for years. So one of my favorite things to do is to put biblical principles with principles of good mental health together. So